Hi there, what's up? My name is Todd Carnevale, and in today's video we are going to study about GetX Flutter package. The GetX Flutter package offers state management, navigation management, and dependencies management in a very fast, stable, SQLite, and powerful way. At least it promises it. By reading the documentation at pub.dev, you can see that this package makes it easy to make the navigation between two screens. It offers the possibility of showing snackbars and show dialogs without the need of using the BuildContext. It uses BuildContext, but you don't have to explicitly pass the BuildContext object as a parameter every time you will show a dialog, every time you will show a snackbar. Is it possible also to show a snackbar inside the initState method as a reaction from an event, from a state change? And it's very harmful to do without the help of any kind of package that make the hard work. Probably you will make to some kind of workaround to have snackbars and dialogs working inside your initState before you have access to the BuildContext object. The state management is very easy to do. You can declare a variable and just add a point, a dot, and three letters OBS. It's all you have to do to add this variable as a variable that will be accessible inside the OBS widget that will provide the state changes reactions to other objects and will rebuild part of your application to reflect the new value. GetX also provides storage system that you can access that data from one instance and another screen easily. It's like key value storage, a simple storage system. It offers internationalization in an easy way that you just add a dot to the end of a string, and very easily you can replace it with the correct value based on the locale of the user. Get offers also a change theme method that it's useful to change from light to dark theme, and offers a set of validators you can use to validate nails and other kind of fields. It's all available in pub.dev. You will see all the documentation of the Get package. This package is currently called GetX, but it keeps the name Get because previously it was a very simple package that just offered things like navigation and snackbars, small things. And now it's more complete, offering state management, internationalization, and other kinds of features. After this update, the developer opted to call the package as GetX, but keep the package name of Get. So let's start with our project. I will make a simple app. I will make a counter app, but using the Get package to make the state management and to make the navigation between pages. It will be a simple counter app, but with access to another page and some other features to better explain how this package can help you. So let's start. Here I have a terminal and I have opened my Android emulator. So let's start a new Flutter project. I will type Flutter create GetX sample. Even better, GetX counter. Let's wait until Flutter creates the project for us. Hold on. Now Flutter will execute Flutter Doctor. It not found my Android emulator. It's very strange. Let's check with Flutter device. My device is here, my Android emulator. I think it's okay. My device is up and running. So let's start. As you can see, I created the project inside my temporary folder. It's here. But I will change it later, okay? Let's enter the folder. I will execute a cd command, getX counter. And let's open it in Visual Studio Code, okay? I will type just code and dot, and it will open the project in Visual Studio Code. Now, with the project loaded inside your VS Code, just click on your pubspec.yaml file, and let's add get as a dependency of this new project. Get. Let's check the version of get. The current version is 3.3. Let's add this here. And save pubspec. VS Code will automatically execute Flutter pub dev, and you will have get available to use on your project. Let's open the main.dart file, and we can remove all the code, okay? Remove all the code, clean up your file. Let's remove all the code, and the only code that will last here will be the void main function and our import to flutter.material. I will import package get.dart. Okay, the package is now available to use inside the project. When using get, you will not use the material app object, material app widget. You will use the get material app. It's just a clone of get material app. You have the same options. You can define a home, and let's remove the bug bar. Okay. I will also create a home page. So let's create a stateless widget that will be called home. And I will set this as home of our app. Now I can already execute this in the Android emulator, but let's get a little more code inside this. Let's create a scaffold, app bar, app bar. To this app bar, let's give a title. And to this scaffold, let's have a body of a single child, or even better, a container. Okay. So let's run our application in Android emulator. VS Code executed the necessary commands to run this inside the Android emulator. I just pressed F5 button on my keyboard and it will do all the work. It's working this way because I have the Android emulator connected, already connected. It's here. If you have some kind of problems to launch your application on your device, it could be Android emulator, it could be Flutter Web, Flutter Desktop, or even an iOS simulator. You can just execute the command Flutter Doctor or Flutter Device, more specifically, to check which devices are identified by Flutter. Okay? So that is already installed, it's running here on the Android emulator. Now let's create the rest of interface. Let's create the other elements of the interface. I will have here floating action buttons. It will be as a child an icon, and this icon can be a plus sign, and this icon could be a plus sign, but even better, let's create here a column. Let's place these elements as childs of this column. Okay, we will have here floating action button 1 and a floating action button 2. A child will be an icon. Child will be an icon. Icons dot add the same here, child icon. Icons dot dash remove, something like this. And without the icon suggestions in my VS Code, I have to fix this. They are here. Let's place them in the right position. It has to do with the column and main X alignment, and they are here at the bottom. And I will place a sized box to separate both buttons with the height of 10 pixels. It's okay. Now I have a plus and a minus button. Let's create the content of the application. It will be, I could replace this with a center. As a child, I will replace with text. Even better, with a column. In this column you have children, and main X alignment will be center. The children of the column will be two text elements. The first will show the message the counter value is, and the second will be the counter value. Particularly at this moment 0. I will place some style in this element. Font size maybe 25. Here too, style, text style, font size. I will set this as 25. Missing parentheses here, and this I will set as 40. Okay, the value is 0. Now my interface is done. Now let's create a class to make the state management work. So let's create a class called Appcontroller. This class is being set on the home page, so the home page will never be disposed. So if you set the state management inside the home page, it will be available all the time of the execution of your application. So let's create a class called Appcontroller, and this class extends GetX controller. The value I will need here is a variable of type int, but I will not define the type of the variable because this variable will be an instance of an object of GetX controller, of the GetX package. So I will define a var counter and I will set the value 0. So var counter equals to 0. This variable receives the initial value of 0. And I will create a void method add, and this method will make an operation to add to counter. And the void, sorry, I missed the parentheses, void subtract. That will make counter minus minus. But I have a problem here. This is not making the state management because the counter is a variable of type int. I have to explicitly show to GetX that this variable will be an observable variable. So let's add .obs annotation. Now this variable is being observed by the GetX package. But you have one caveat. The caveat is this value is not more an int. Now it is an object of type rx int. When you add this annotation here, you change the type of the variable. It's not more an int. It's now an rx int. So you have to edit this to counter.value plus plus. The same here. Counter.value minus minus. Now my controller is set, and when I start my application, it will begin to track the content of this variable, the variable counter, and every time it changes, it will notify all the objects that are listening to this. Okay? So let's change our interface. Now let's make the necessary changes to connect our state management controller class to our widget presentation class. Now we have a home class. I will create here a final variable of type Appcontroller. That is the same name of the class I've created, and this will be called controller, and I will receive a value from GetX get.put. As a dependency, I will receive Appcontroller. Now I have access to the state management inside my presentation class. and I can define the onPressed methods inside the buttons. Okay, so the reaction to the onPressed event will be this function. I will call controller dot add. The same here, onPressed controller dot subtract. I could even do this in a more simple way. Okay, let's replace here too. Controller, just pass the method in the controller as a reference. So it's done, but it will not work yet. Let's make a reload of the application later, and you will see that it's not working. So let's replace this string with the correct value from our controller. I could simply replace this with controller.counter, but it will not work. Because it's an instance of our x int. But I could put value. Now it works, but it's not reactive. It's not reacting to the changes, okay? Because I need to tell Flutter that I have here an object that is being replaced every time the state changes. So let's remove this text, or even better, let's surround this. I will not surround because this widget is a little different, okay? I have the OBX widget, and it just takes a callback here and return the text element, the same text element. And what it will output here? It will output a string with controller dot counter dot value. Just this. Now inside this OBX widget, I will place a callback function, and this function returns a widget of type text with the string of controller counter value, and just format the text and close the OBX widget. So let's see it working. Now it already has a value, okay, that I've clicked at sometimes the buttons, and it already had changed the value of counter. It was 2. And I can change this every time the state changes. The OBX widget will rebuild this part of the interface with the correct value, okay? So let's try this in another way. I will place a button here that opens another window, and this new window will have to keep the same value of this controller. Let's see it in action. Let's create the same file in the main file, main.dart. In your case, you should split this file in multiple files, each one, for example, a first file here with a home.dart file, an Appcontroller.dart file, and the main.dart file, okay? But it's not necessary for our example, it's just more complexity, okay? I will create another stateless widget, and it will be called second page. Now just let's create another page with a scaffold, app bar, title, body. Body should be a column, and floating action buttons too. That will be a column. Now let's define body. I will define the alignment. On the main X alignment, it will be main X alignment dot center. I will define the children here, okay? The children will be two text elements. It's exactly the same content of the previous page, okay? The value in Appcontroller is, let's define a style. Font size 25. And here I will do the same. I will define an initial value, and create a style, text style, font size 40. Okay, it's done. I will create two floating action buttons the same way I've created on the home page. Let's first define the alignment, main X alignment, and children, floating action button, a size box with the height of 10 pixels, and another floating action button. Okay. Now let's define here the child. That will be an icon, icons.add. In the other child icon, and icons.remove. On press it. Let's keep this empty. I missed something. Okay. Let's just start here to make the navigation using Get. Okay. Here in the home page, I will place a button. Let's place a sized box here. With the height of 15, and place here a button, maybe a raised button, okay? That will have a child text. We call second page. Go to second page. On press it. Now I will call a feature from get.to, and pass second page. Just this. By clicking the button, it goes to the second page. Something went wrong. I got this black screen. Let's verify what happened here. I think it has to do with the floating action buttons. I have to set up the hero as new. Hero tag new. Same here. Now we'll do this here too. To avoid this widget missing things up the widget 3. So let's check it was okay. I will make a hot reload. It's okay. If I go to the second page, it's working. Now we have to just make some adjustment here in order to test the in the right position. Let's create here a center. Okay, the value in the Appcontroller is 0. It's not working. I have to import the Appcontroller here on the second page. So let's just do a little work. Let's create a controller, Appcontroller variable, call it controller. It will receive get.find. Now I can use this here in onPressed, controller.add, and in remove, controller.subtract. I just pass the method of controller as a reference. Let's wrap this with an OBX widget and define a callback that will return the text object. Things get a little messed up, but now instead of 0, I can return controller dot counter dot value. Okay, let's see if it's working. We'll go back at 6. It's 6. If I remove, it's 5. Let's add 2, 7, 7. Let's remove until 1 negative, 1 negative. One little caveat, I forgot to make this variable at the second page class as final, okay? As it is a stateless widget, variables here must always be final. It's just a reference that comes from get.find. I hope this little sample project helped you to see how GetX could be very useful and could remove the strain of doing some little things in Flutter, like state management and route management. In the next video, I will make a tutorial of how to use Get to manage dialogs and snackbars. I will upload this project source code on my GitHub account, so you can get the link on the description of this video. If this kind of content is useful for you, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will always be posting new videos with Flutter tricks and talking about all the possibilities that Flutter packages can bring to your project. I see you on a next video. Thanks.